This is the story of a legendary sniper who could hit targets from miles away, even while blindfolded. But he was not always like that. There was a time when he was just an ordinary math teacher. He hated war, violence, and weapons. Then one tragic event changed his life forever and transformed him into a deadly sniper. The story begins in a small village in Ukraine. A married couple lives peacefully in a modest home. The husband's name is Nikola, and his wife's name is Nastia. Nastia is a talented artist who creates beautiful wooden sculptures. Nikola works as a mathematics teacher at a nearby school. He is quiet, honest, and deeply committed to his profession. Most of his students respect him. However, one student named Ivan constantly makes fun of him. Ivan comes from a wealthy family and often boasts about his family's social status. He frequently mocks Nikola's clothes and appearance in front of the entire class. His goal is to provoke Nikola into losing his temper so he can report him and get him fired. Despite the constant humiliation, Nikola stays calm and refuses to argue. He lives a very simple life. His house does not even have modern devices like a television. Because of this, he knows very little about what is happening in the outside world. One day at school, he notices a news report playing on the television. The report announces that Russia has launched attacks on Ukraine. According to the broadcast, many soldiers have already lost their lives, and several regions have fallen under enemy control. That evening, Nikola returns home and receives wonderful news. He learns that Nastia is expecting their first child. The news fills him with happiness. The couple celebrates the special moment together. The following morning, Nikola says goodbye to his wife and rides his bicycle to school. While traveling, he notices two soldiers smoking cigarettes beside the road. Their uniforms look different from those worn by Ukrainian troops. Nikola finds it unusual, but assumes the military has introduced new uniforms. Without giving it much thought, he continues toward the school. When he arrives, he is shocked. The entire school is empty. Not a single student is there. A few moments later, he sees another news report confirming that Russian forces have entered Ukraine. He suddenly realizes that the soldiers he saw earlier were not Ukrainian troops. The realization fills him with fear for Nastia's safety. He quickly grabs his bicycle and rushes back home. Sadly, he arrives too late. He finds two enemy soldiers violently attacking Nastia. Nikola immediately tries to protect her, but the soldiers turn their attention toward him. He desperately begs them to stop, explaining that his wife is pregnant. The soldiers ignore his pleas. After a while, one of them enters the house in search of valuables. When he finds nothing worth taking, he sets the house on fire. As the flames spread through their home, Nastia gathers the courage to fight back. She grabs a nearby stone and attacks the soldiers. In response, one of them fires his weapon in anger. The bullet strikes Nastia and she collapses to the ground. Nikola is completely devastated. He rushes to her side, holds her in his arms, and breaks down in tears. A few hours later, two Ukrainian soldiers arrive at the scene. They are heartbroken by the sight of Nastia's lifeless body. They comfort Nikola and help him dig a grave for her. Together, they lay her to rest. Nikola is left completely shattered. Everything he loved has been taken away from him. The enemy has killed his wife, destroyed his home, and stolen the future of his unborn child. The unbearable loss ignites a powerful desire for revenge. He decides that those responsible must pay for their crimes. To make that happen, he believes there is only one path left. He must join the Ukrainian army. Nikola pleads with the two soldiers to take him with them. He tells them that he wants to fight for his country. Understanding the pain he is carrying, the soldiers agree and bring him to a military base. Before leaving, Nikola takes a small wooden figurine carved by Nastia. It is one of the few memories of her that he still has. When they arrive at the base, a senior officer is not happy to see him. The officer suspects that Nikola could be an enemy spy. He questions the two soldiers and demands complete information about him. Nikola then tells the officer everything that happened. He explains how enemy soldiers killed his wife and burned down his home. He says that he has nothing left to lose. All he wants now is to defend his country and seek justice against those who destroyed his life. After listening to his story, the officer finally allows him to join the army. The next day, Nikola begins his military training. The training is extremely difficult for him. After all, he has spent most of his life working as a mathematics teacher. His world had always revolved around books, numbers, and education. Nikola had no experience with weapons or combat. While the other recruits quickly learned how to handle their equipment, he often struggled to keep up. Watching this, the officer began to doubt whether Nikola would ever become a capable soldier. Despite the challenges, Nikola refused to give up. He pushed himself harder and continued training every single day. One night during training, he made an unusual request. He asked his commanding officer not to call him by his real name. Instead, he wanted to be known as Raven. The other soldiers burst into laughter after hearing his request. The officer explained that such code names could not simply be chosen. They had to be earned through actions and achievements. He told Nikola that a soldier must first accomplish something meaningful for the country. Nikola was not discouraged by the response. Instead, it strengthened his determination. From that day forward, he trained even harder. Long after the other other soldiers had gone to sleep, Nikola continued practicing on his own. One day, the officer gathered all the recruits together. He informed them that the army was facing a shortage of skilled snipers. They urgently needed accurate marksmen to fight against the enemy. He then asked if anyone wanted to train as a sniper. Several recruits stepped forward. Nikola was one of them. As soon as the others saw him volunteer, they laughed once again. The officer looked at Nikola and told him that he was not ready. He explained that Nikola still struggled with basic weapon handling. In his opinion, becoming a sniper was far beyond Nikola's current abilities. However, Nikola refused to back down. With confidence, he declared that he could become an excellent sniper. All he needed was a chance to prove himself. Seeing Nikola's confidence, the officer decided to test him. He challenged Nikola to assemble a rifle within 20 seconds. To everyone's surprise, Nikola first blindfolded himself. He then completely disassembled and reassembled the rifle in just 18 seconds. His speed and precision amazed everyone present. The soldiers who had previously mocked him began applauding his performance. Even the senior officer was impressed. As a result, he enrolled Nikola in sniper training. During the training, most recruits received modern rifles. However, Nikola was given an old and outdated weapon. After seeing the rifle, he requested a better one. The officer refused and told him that he would have to earn it through his performance. With no other choice, Nikola continued his training using the same rifle. Later, the officer explained an important rule to all the trainee snipers. He said that a true sniper never abandons a position under any circumstances. No matter how dangerous the situation becomes, a sniper must remain focused on the target. To test their discipline, the officer suddenly fired a shot nearby during training. Any recruit who flinched, moved, or reacted in fear was immediately disqualified. When Nikola's turn came, he remained completely still. His focus never left the target. As a result, he successfully passed the test. The next challenge tested the trainees' memory and concentration. Each trainee was allowed to look at the target only once. After that, their eyes were covered, and they had to aim using only their memory. Several soldiers successfully completed the exercise. When Nikola took his shot, he missed the target by a very small margin. As a result, he failed the test. The outdated rifle made accurate aiming much more difficult. Even so, everyone realized that with a better weapon, he likely would have succeeded. Soon afterward, another difficult challenge began. This time, the trainees had to shoot in complete darkness using only the brief flashes of light from signal flares. The officer launched several flares into the night sky. As soon as the area lit up, the soldiers quickly fired their shots. However, none of them managed to hit the target. Nikola chose a different strategy. Instead of rushing, he carefully observed the timing and movement of the flares. He realized that simply shooting toward the light would not guarantee accuracy. Using his mathematical skills, he calculated the distance, angle, and timing. After finding the perfect moment, he pulled the trigger. His shot hit the target with remarkable precision. The officer and the other soldiers were left speechless. No one had ever completed this difficult test successfully before. Nikola became the first trainee to achieve it. Impressed by his exceptional performance, the officer finally awarded him the codename Raven. As the days passed, Nikola continued to train and improve. Eventually, the final results of the training program were announced. The colonel saluted Nikola and informed him that he was officially ready for active duty. A few days later, the colonel returned with new orders. He instructed Nikola to prepare his equipment for an upcoming mission. Intelligence reports revealed that enemy forces had taken control of a strategic checkpoint. This was the moment when the real battle was about to begin. Nikola's team immediately moved toward the location. After arriving, the soldiers took up defensive positions and carefully observed enemy activity. A short time later, they noticed movement nearby. A vehicle was seen approaching the checkpoint. Recognizing the situation, the colonel quickly ordered everyone to hold their fire. Meanwhile, the enemy troops stopped the vehicle and ordered the passengers to step outside. They checked everyone's identification documents and thoroughly searched the vehicle. After finding nothing suspicious, they allowed the passengers to continue their journey. However, they kept the civilians' passports. When the passengers demanded their documents back, the enemy soldiers responded with violence and began assaulting them. Seeing this, the colonel immediately ordered his team to engage. Within seconds, the snipers opened fire together. Their shots were accurate and effective. The confrontation ended almost instantly. The enemy soldiers were eliminated, and the mission was successfully completed. After returning to base camp, Nikola noticed that several soldiers were missing. Curious, he asked where they had gone. He was told that they had been assigned to a different operation. The following day, devastating news reached the camp. Many of those soldiers had lost their lives. They had been targeted by a highly skilled enemy sniper. The sniper was known as Siri and was considered one of the most dangerous marksmen among the enemy forces. A few days later, Nikola and his team received another assignment. They traveled to the designated area and planted mines throughout the region. Once the preparations were complete, the soldiers took up their positions and waited. Not long afterward, enemy troops entered the area. As Nikola observed them, he was shocked to recognize one of the faces. It was Ivan, the same student who had once mocked him at school. Now Ivan was fighting alongside the opposing forces. When the colonel gave the order to attack, Nikola hesitated for a brief moment. The thought of taking the life of a former student weighed heavily on him. However, he quickly regained his focus. Instead of aiming directly at the soldiers, he fired at the hidden explosives. His shot triggered a powerful explosion. The blast eliminated the enemy unit, including Ivan. After the operation operation, the colonel spoke with Nicola. He asked why Nicola had hesitated before firing. Nicola explained the situation. He revealed that one of the enemy soldiers had once been his student. Because of that connection, he found it difficult to pull the trigger. The colonel listened carefully before responding. He reminded Nicola that Ivan was no longer a student. He was now a soldier fighting for the opposing side. The colonel explained that personal emotions could never interfere with military decisions. If a soldier allowed emotions to take control, the entire mission could be placed at risk. After the mission, the team returned safely to base camp. By this time, the colonel had developed great confidence in Nicola. The two began spending more time together. One day, the colonel showed Nicola a photograph of his family. He explained that he had 2 daughters. The girls did not even know that their father served in the military. They believed that he worked as a businessman. Even his wife had kept the truth hidden from them for many years. Nicola then shared his own story. He explained how enemy soldiers had taken his wife from him and destroyed his life. As he spoke, he became overwhelmed with emotion. The colonel comforted him and encouraged him to stay strong. The next morning, they received another important mission. Intelligence reports suggested that a group of enemy soldiers would soon pass through a specific route. The colonel and Nicola immediately moved to the location. After arriving, they took positions behind cover and carefully observed the area. A short time later, they spotted 2 enemy soldiers waiting for the rest of their unit. As Nicola looked at them through his scope, he suddenly froze. He recognized one of the men. It was the soldier responsible for his wife's death. A wave of anger rushed through him. Nicola immediately asked the colonel for permission to fire. The colonel refused, saying that it was not the right moment. However, Nicola's anger continued to grow. The man who had destroyed his family was standing right in front of him. Once again, he asked for permission to shoot. The colonel stopped him and ordered him to wait. This time, Nicola could not control his emotions. Ignoring the order, he pulled the trigger. The bullet struck the soldier and killed him instantly. Unfortunately, the gunshot revealed their position to the enemy. The colonel angrily demanded to know why Nicola had acted without permission. But by then, the damage had already been done. The enemy's most feared sniper, Siri, had already detected their position. The colonel immediately began searching for the sniper's location. Before he could react, a perfectly aimed shot rang out. The bullet struck the colonel and killed him instantly. Nicola was stunned by what had happened. He immediately realized that his actions had led to the tragedy. Within moments, intense enemy fire erupted around them. Explosions and gunfire echoed across the battlefield. Realizing the situation had become impossible, Nicola decided to retreat. He picked up the colonel's body and carried it away from the battlefield. After a difficult escape, he managed to evade the enemy and return to base camp. The colonel's death weighed heavily on him. He blamed himself for everything that had happened. At that moment, he made a promise to himself. One day, he would eliminate Siri and avenge the colonel's death. Sometime later, Nicola received intelligence about 2 enemy snipers operating nearby. Without hesitation, he set out on another mission. After reaching the location, he quickly identified the first target. He carefully took aim and eliminated the sniper. As he prepared to target the second one, another hidden sniper suddenly opened fire from behind. The bullet struck Nicola in the arm, leaving him badly wounded. Even so, he refused to give up. Fighting through the pain, he regained his focus and eliminated the second sniper as well. Because of his injuries, he was forced to retreat and remain hidden for a while. During this time, he received a call from an army major. The major informed him that they had finally discovered the identity of the sniper who had killed the colonel. Hearing this, Nicola immediately returned to base. After arriving, the major gathered the soldiers and explained the situation. He revealed that the sniper's name was Siri. Siri was considered the enemy's most dangerous and accurate marksman. It was said that he rarely missed a target. He had already eliminated several highly skilled snipers. Because of this, the major warned everyone not to underestimate him. The major also explained that Siri recorded many of his attacks. He later distributed the footage to spread fear among opposing forces. His goal was to weaken the enemy's morale and pressure them into surrendering. The major further explained that Siri usually operated from a fixed position. He was known for maintaining exceptional accuracy while staying in the same location for long periods. After reviewing all the available information, the team developed a plan to eliminate him. The soldiers were divided into 2 groups. The first group would launch a frontal attack to distract the enemy. At the same time, the second group would move in from behind. During the confusion, Nicola would enter the building and locate Siri. Once he found him, he would eliminate him. After the strategy was finalized, the soldiers headed out on the mission. When they reached the location, each sniper moved into position. Meanwhile, Nicola quietly entered the building. Shortly after entering, he spotted 2 enemy soldiers talking to each other. Without hesitation, he eliminated both of them and continued moving forward. As planned, he sent a signal to his team. The moment the signal was received, the snipers outside opened fire. Within a short time, the visible enemy soldiers were neutralized. Meanwhile, Siri noticed that his men were no longer responding. He immediately realized that something was wrong. He rushed to the rooftop where one of his snipers had been stationed. However, when he arrived, he discovered that the sniper was already gone. At that moment, he realized that enemy forces had surrounded the area. Siri quickly contacted his base and requested immediate reinforcements. He was informed that support would arrive within 10 minutes. Without wasting any time, he returned to his position and began searching for the intruder. Suddenly, he noticed a small wooden figurine lying nearby. It was the keepsake Nicola always life carried with him. The figurine was the last precious memory of his wife. Before Siri could fully react, Nicola launched his attack. A fierce hand-to-hand fight broke out between the two men. In the end, Nicola gained the upper hand and eliminated Siri. The sound of the fight alerted another enemy sniper inside the building. Before the sniper could respond, Nicola threw a grenade in his direction. The explosion eliminated the last remaining enemy inside. Moments later, enemy reinforcements arrived at the building. They had no idea that Siri had already been defeated. The soldiers attempted to contact him over the radio. Instead, Nicola answered the call. He warned them that none of them would leave the area alive. Immediately afterward, he fired at the driver of their vehicle. The sudden attack threw the enemy soldiers into panic. They quickly jumped out of the truck and scattered across the area. What they did not realize was that they had walked straight into a trap. Ukrainian snipers hidden around the battlefield opened fire from multiple directions. One by one, the enemy soldiers were taken down. A few days later, Nicola visited his wife's grave. He stood there quietly, reflecting on everything that had happened. At last, he felt that he had fulfilled the mission that had driven him for so long. Those responsible for destroying his life were gone. He had also avenged the colonel's death. Standing before the grave, he made one final promise. He vowed to continue serving his country for the rest of his life. With that, he turned and walked away. The story comes to an end.